Steinhouse, and welcome to today's Money Chat Now interview. In this portion of the show, I take the opportunity to interview interesting people and introduce you to their products, their services, or just their good intentions. Hey, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed, and I bet we can make that happen. Hey, I got an interesting guest today. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So my guest today claims she is originally a surfer girl from Carlsbad, California. She is the daughter of a master gunnery sergeant who she believes she inherited true grit from. She is a former business owner in the equine industry. She is married, lives in West Bristol Township. She states her love for Bucks County and Pennsylvania, and she is a world explorer who often says that she won't back down or be intimidated. She is a willing servant leader and, like you and I, is deeply concerned for our country and, of course, this state, Pennsylvania. I'm looking forward to speaking to her about so many issues that I know we can relate to. So let me introduce you to Caroline Avery, who is a Libertarian for Congress. Caroline, what is going on?
Good morning, or close to noon. Good mid-morning to you. How are you today? Thank you for having me.
All right, I have to ask you a simple question that I'm sure the audience wants to know. What is a libertarian?
Well, this libertarian is an American patriot who loves her country, who was kind of like ousted out of the Republican Party for not following the rules, I suppose, which would be get in line and do what the hell we say and shut up. So it was suggested to me that the Libertarian Party might be a good place for me to look into, and that was suggested to me by a Second Amendment organization who supports me at this time. And so I did, and they welcomed me with open arms, and that made me their candidate. They nominated me. I didn't change my platform. I didn't change me. I'm just doing my thing. But I got an L next to my name.
All right.
For libertarian.
I've got it. Okay, I got to go back to the beginning because this was fascinating. So first of all, you say the Republican Party threw you out?
Yeah, basically they're actually, it's not the Republican Party, it's the GOP establishment party, okay? The Rhino establishment party, the duopoly party,
right.
who vehemently opposed my, audacity to, put my name into the ring against this deep stater. And when they contacted me and tried to, explain to me why, this was unacceptable, I listened and watched and listened and watched. As time went on, they basically, they ended up, did every trick they could, and it didn't work because they were just not smart enough to tell you the truth, and showed their disdain and disrespect for the regular American citizen, which is me. And it's also you, Larry. And it's my neighbor down the street.
Yeah.
And it's the people going to schools, at the grocery store clerks. Okay? But these people have it all. These, few people have decided that they will choose who shall and shall not be our leaders. And when you question them, they just talk in circles. They can never really give you a straight answer about why I wouldn't be qualified.
All right. So let me ask you a question. So you were Republican. You went. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Brian Fitzpatrick in a little while because that's obviously who you're running against. However, you were in that party. You went to the Republican establishment here, and you said, "Hey, I want to run too." And they said, "We're going to endorse Fitzpatrick," which I get it. I don't agree with them, but I understand what they're doing. And then you said, "No, I'm not going to let that happen." Now, Alex Enton ran against Fitzpatrick. Were you in that? I don't know, that realm as well?
Well, let me correct you on one thing. I never, ever went to any establishment and asked them if it was okay for me to run for office. I did the required thing that I was supposed to do as an American citizen to run for Congress.
You got 1,000. You got a
And
1,000 or more autographs, correct?
well, autographs, yeah, you can call them that, I guess, because people really are the stars to me.
Right.
But yeah, you 1,000 signatures, you pay your 150, this and that and the other. But early on, even like Alex actually came in late, very late to the dance, I'll call it,
Sure.
and he was their chosen person to primary Brian Fitzpatrick. Washington Times did a big article and named me as the example of why they had to remove me. They challenged my signatures, of course, and they used the Elias law firm to do it. I wasn't invited to any of their special parties or whatever. I was, pushed around to get behind Alex, and I wasn't going to do that. I thought that I was the stronger candidate, period. It's nothing against Alex. It just is what it is.
Sure.
And so they sued me off the ballot. They sued me off the ballot using Democrat lawyers, using the Elias law firm and Delworth and Paxton.
Okay, but before
Big,
I understand,
big
what I understand
lawyer.
is you didn't have enough. What happened? You didn't have enough signatures, or your signatures were challenged?
Well, they were challenged, but on their face, you could see that it was malicious challenge. I knew it because I collected those signatures myself, and I knew most of those people. So I went to court, and after we went to court, I proved that about 100 of the signatures that they struck through were valid. So I proved my point. And by this time, I had it with the Republican Party. I only joined the Republican Party so I could vote for Donald Trump in the primary a few years back. I was always an independent voter. So when after all this beating up and horrible, and I'm not talking about Republican people, I'm talking about the establishment and a small group of the establishment at that have all the power. After all that, and I went down to the court, I proved to my satisfaction that they were malicious. And in the middle of my middle Supreme Court hearing, I requested to the judge that I withdraw my petition for candidacy because I had already been seeking out to run as a libertarian because it was going to be more fitting to me. It was much more of a friendly atmosphere for me, much more honest.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, so then you actually won the challenge, so you actually could have been on the ballot. So it would have been Brian. No, you couldn't have been on the ballot. Okay.
I withdrew in the middle of the challenge.
No, I understand. But if you didn't withdraw, you would have be able to be on the ballot, correct?
We would have had to continue on with the fight, with the legal fight. So,
Okay.
that remains to be seen. I withdrew.
Okay, so how many signatures did you actually have?
Well, at the time that I withdrew, we had gotten it up over like 900 and something because they said that I had only 800 and something legitimate things, and I turned in, I think, about 1,250.
Okay,
so we had already proven.
Okay, so they're saying that 50%
And
of your signatures weren't legit.
Yes, and we were working hard to make the other ones. I mean, I really cost them a lot of money, and they deserved to get spanked with that. They did. They deserved every bit of it. I acted as my own attorney too.
Okay, all right, awesome.
In a middle
okay.
Supreme.
All right, because I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, this is. I didn't realize it was so much drama involved. But you're.
Oh, that's.
Go ahead. So your main thing is Brian Fitzpatrick is a rhino, and you don't like him, and you want him to start voting as a Republican instead of as a Democrat, correct?
Well, my main thing isn't that I don't like Brian Fitzpatrick because I really don't care about his personality or him. I'm talking about policy in our country. So I could really give a rat's behind about Brian Fitzpatrick personally. I hope he has a good life. I want him to resign and leave office and get out of our life. Okay, we don't need this FBI agent. Okay, we don't need this FBI agent who's not doing us any good. So personally, I wish him well. So there is a big bandwagon of I hate Brian Fitzpatrick, and it's just I hate to say it like this, but it's very immature. You know what I mean? It makes it very personal. It makes it on a personal level, like in some sort of a club, and that's what they are anyway. But that's not my issue with him. My issue with him is he's not a good representative.
Okay, and what makes him not a good representative?
Well, he says he's a conservative. Several things. First of all, I'm not a big fan of having an FBI agent as our congressman, especially
So
one
I'm
that
curious
spent
about what
time
that
in
means. What does it
Ukraine.
mean that you don't like the fact that he's an FBI agent? You think that's a problem?
I do. I think it's a problem to be in our legislative branch. I absolutely do think it's a problem. Why not go into the military branch or the Pentagon branch or the executive branch? The legislative branch is for we the people, and we have too many people like this that are entrenched in the government. Kind of, if you take out that legislative branch, then what do you have for our republic? Okay, so people like him, especially ones that I do question what he was doing in Ukraine, working for James Comey in 2015. And why, God, rest his soul. I don't like to talk, speak ill of the dead, but why was his brother campaigning for him? All right, while he was still an FBI agent, isn't that a Hatch Act violation? I believe that it is. Okay, so it's the whole thing about, these are your candidates. These are the people who are going to rule our country, our state, and our district. And you all don't have the money, and you're not. What do you say, George Carlin? It's a big club, and you're not in it. You ain't in it. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of a thing. But it became more infuriating with his voting record, like the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, which not only did he vote for, but he whipped the votes for that. He got 12 other votes that Nancy Pelosi could not get for herself. This infrastructure bill that's got all kinds of other crap in it, we all know that, is helped to drive us into economic disaster. Okay, so there's one. Okay, now we want to go to the Equality Act, which lets men support women. Men and women's sports. Okay, I don't support that. And speaking of which, where was Brian Fitzpatrick during the entire COVID lockdown? I'll tell you where, standing shoulder to shoulder.
Thing too. I had no interest in politics whatsoever until COVID.
Yes, you know what? I can understand that too. I knew what was going on politically, and I know politics is a rough sport, but we're past politics. We're into good versus evil, rough sport. But yeah, it surely did uncover things in it, and it's actuated motion from me. And where was Brian? I'll tell you where. He was standing next to Richard Levine and trying to convince us all that Richard Levine is a woman.
Yeah, right.
I don't care if the guy wants to wear a shirt. I don't care if he wants to dress up like a woman. I don't care if he's gay. It's none of my damn business. But I don't want a congressman sitting there hoodwinking us all, telling us that this is a woman. It's not. That's a man. So we have a sitting Congress.
Right, and if he, she, whatever wants to be he, she, that's okay too. But we don't have to play along.
Well, this is Brian's all things to everybody.
Right.
Who else is all things to everybody? I can think of some things that aren't so good that are all things to everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. So he runs around, but his voting record shows differently. And when he does vote conservative, it has very little consequence on our district and on our state and really on our nation. But when he votes with the Democrats on a regular basis, it has huge consequences, not only for our district, but for our state and for the nation and even our country as a whole. And I can cite the Paris Climate Agreement,
right,
for an example.
Yeah, I have a big theory on that too. But hold on one second. We have to take a quick break, and we're going to come back in a minute. So we're going to take a break here. When we get back, we're going to dig deeper into Caroline Avery's philosophy on politics. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You've thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask one of your burning questions to the stock options sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call 866-424-2829 for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes, or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited. So what are you waiting for? Call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
And now the interview portion. We are currently interviewing Caroline Avery, the Libertarian, and she is extremely passionate about what's going on in Bucks County, and I'm pretty happy to hear that. It's interesting to hear and interesting to learn also. Hey, by the way, if you'd like to be a guest on this show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Tell me why I should interview you, and I'll bet we can make that happen. All right, we got to get back to Caroline because I am so fascinated by so many things that you are doing, and you're passionate about all of this. All right, so what do you think is going to have to happen to, to unseat Brian?
Okay, well, first of all, let me just tell you, I got over 6,000 signatures from folks in my district for me to be on the ballot. And for them to twice now remove me from the ballot with lawfare and usurp, just because a few people don't like it, and usurp the will of the people in my district is unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. I can lose, and I'm good with that. But to not let me compete, and this man's supposed to be for women, he's literally taking the government and any money that he can, and he's beating the tar out of some old lady, which is me. And I'm not just some old lady. I'm pretty damn smart, okay? When it comes down to I had to the way through life. So, good God bless you, Brian. You know what I mean? Good luck. I'd almost rather just get him in the middle of the street and say, let's go for it, buddy.
All right,
because
okay,
he's
so
just.
I have to ask you. So when I go to vote, I don't remember there being a column for Libertarian. Is there one, or am I just forgetting there is one?
Well, no. They keep running them off. See, this is what they do. They give you the appearance of freedom, but these big GOPs or the big Democrat parties, and sometimes they're in it together. Like the GOP used Democrat lawyers to get me off the ballot. So the GOPers, the Republicans used a Democrat law firm to get me off the ballot. So they're in cahoots, and they stop like libertarians or any independents from getting on the ballot unless you're weak. If you read, maybe I can send it to you and find it. If you read the article that the Washington Times wrote about it, they say I'm like the perfect example. Like if they feel that they're going to really be a challenge, then they get rid of you, and they get rid of you the way they get rid of everybody, with their awesome power and government overreach and their money. Okay? Brian wouldn't be able to beat me. He cannot compete.
Right. I mean, look.
That's why you never.
Yeah. When Brian went against.
That's why you never.
When Brian went against Alex, I was furious at the way Brian handled it. Look, Alex happens to be a friend of mine, and I happen to like him, and I just don't know if he would have been a strong congressman. I actually think commissioner would be a really good place for him. But as a congressman, he might not have been the right candidate anyway. But the way Brian attacked him was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I just couldn't understand how he could be such a jerk. And now,
I would welcome.
Go ahead. What was?
I was hoping that I would get the opportunity to be attacked like Alex was. I was looking forward to it. I got some of the, propaganda in the mail that Brian sent to Alex. And I thought he sent about Alex, and I was looking forward to that opportunity. But you know what? I was too strong of a candidate. The Washington Times said so, and he was never going to give me that opportunity, and the GOP wasn't going to give me that opportunity either. So, So what they do, this is it. Okay, you'll get this, Larry, because you've got the wit to get this. So what they've done is they've fixed it for us. They have picked the candidates. They've fixed it for us so we don't get what they don't want. So they fixed it for us so we don't get what they don't want.
Yeah,
sure. The last thing they want is somebody that's going to actually represent the people and actually going to say no to them and actually going to stand up and say, you're not going to push me around. I'm going to represent my district, and I'm going to do it according to the Constitution and protect our God-given rights.
Well,
This is why.
I got to tell you, you are there's no doubt. Passionate is definitely the word to use. I'm disappointed. I'm sort of disappointed in the fact that if you would have pushed it, you probably would have been on the ballot. Now, I realize that there was the whole right for bucks side too, which was the Alex Enton side, and it sounds like you were involved in that, or no?
Now, I kept clear of any group. I would not let myself be involved in any group. Although I like a lot of those people in all those different groups. There's Right for Bucks. There's New Hope for Our Nation. There's there's this GOP. There's that GOP and all that. And I did not let myself. I'm old enough to know better. I did not let myself become too involved with any one of these organizations because my mission is to represent the entire district and not to get too chummy with anybody. I come from the old school. Okay, racehorse business and stuff like that. I come from old school. I know all the tricks. They've all been played on me. And, sometimes I have to laugh at myself on, some of the things I've been fallen into. But this gives me the experience to know that I don't want anybody like Right for Bucks or Wrong for Bucks or New Hope for Our Nation or any of these people to have too much of their hand on me, because it takes your eye off the ball. And then you start representing, then you're just like them. You start representing just that group or just this group. And there's all this inner fighting and all this other stuff. And these people, I hate to say it, they're really not getting anything done except for dividing us even further. And it's the same goes with religion. You know what I mean? I'm a Christian. I don't preach it. People will know me by my fruit. If they'd like to talk about scripture, I can do that too. But right now, my mission was to help get our country out of the problem that we're in. And, by far, I'm the strongest candidate.
So I really like what you're saying,
By far,
and I really like your energy. There's no doubt. But so the only way that anyone could possibly vote for you is to have to write you in.
Sure. So we have to make me famous, Larry.
Well, I'm working on it.
In a very short period.
We have to make me famous enough to make you famous. Go, you got to go call Sean Hannity. Don't call me.
I get it. Well, you probably know. Well, I don't know about Sean Hannity so much. You know what I mean? I don't know if he'd be on my side. I really don't. You know what I mean? I really don't.
Sure, I don't know either.
So, I'd be more inclined to be someone like, I like Lara Logan. I like Lara Logan. Okay. Do you know who she is?
I don't, but have you reached out to her team?
You have to know who Lara Logan is.
It's funny. I'm in my own little world.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, the thing you really can't be involved. If you're involved in everything, then your mind's just a hot mess. You have to set yourself on a mission, on a road, if you're going to run for an office like I am. And that has to, you got to push this junk aside, whatever junk you see, because otherwise they're going to stop you. They're going to, and that's, how they do it. They distract, deflect. Our country is in trouble. Our district is in trouble. People are being stifled. Our First Amendment has been ripped out from underneath this, and most people don't even realize. I would immediately go after Section 230, and I think that you believe me when I tell you that guess what? This woman would get something done, and that's what they're really afraid of. I would go after that, close the GD border, okay, and get it done now. Why the hell has Brian Fitzpatrick not been down there every single day? He's not, okay? Quit giving money to Ukraine and all these other countries, all right? Bring back our left behind from Afghanistan, which they want to believe that don't exist there, and they still are there. So they keep the public's mind and the electric, the voters' mind so wrapped up in so many different things that they can't really think straight. And then you have your transgenderism and your gender dysphoria. This is unacceptable, because what it is, Larry, is it's identity theft. They've got these kids where they don't know if they're male, they're female, they're Jew, they're Greek. They don't know what they are. So when you don't know what you are, what are you? You're an empty vessel. When you're an empty vessel, then what happens? Okay, you're an old enough man to know. Then they fill you up with whatever they want to fill you up with. We're talking about Maoism. We're talking about stuff that's been going on since the ancient times. All right? And we're going to have to outwit them. We're going to have to outsmart them because we'll never outspend them. And we're not going to be able to outscream them because they own the media. So what we've got to do is out grassroot them. And that means you got to ask 5-year people to get a hold of me and vice versa.
All right.
You know, so I mean,
So how many times has a libertarian actually won?
never.
Okay, so although you're full of fire and you're full of pep and a lot of the ideas I agree with, I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to be hard for you to hear it, but you can't win. Because you can't win. Not only are you not on the ballot, but a libertarian has never won before. My thought is why, and it troubles me because if the Republican Party pushed you out, you know what was best for your district? Was it best for your district for you to be in here and actually get a run to beat Fitzpatrick, or was it best in your district for you to run alone as an island?
No, I'm not an island, believe me. I've got plenty of people behind me. What's best for my district is I stand the hell up against this deep stater and this baloney because it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse. So what's best for my district is that I go ahead and go in front and show people, guess what? You have executive power right now. You have the power right now to legally, ethically, and morally stop this runaway train of these politicians who are out of touch and they are absolutely holding us hostage. You have to send the GOP a message. We're not going to take it anymore. You tell us that you're going to give us this kind of a candidate, and it goes, all the votes go directly against the opposite. Then you terrorize us during the primary or after the primary and tell us if we don't take what they gave us, then we're really going to get it. That is not a choice, my friend. That is a hostage situation. And if you think that I don't know the weight of this, and I don't mean you personally, if anyone out there thinks that I don't know the weight of what I'm doing, I absolutely do. They've been threatened. People have come to my team's house and threatened them to go to jail. They have called the people who signed my petitions and told them they're going to jail and made lies about me. I have evidence. We have videotapes. We have written affidavits. And when that kind of stuff happens,
Caroline, we have 10 seconds. I'm so sorry, but you're on a really cool rant, and I'm loving it. But real quick, what can people do to get you in, and how could they find out more about you? You got 10 seconds.
Okay, go to carolineforcongress.us. Tell your friends about me. Follow me on Twitter. Get the word out.
That's awesome.
Write me in.
I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to talking to you offline because I think this is awesome. I think you are an exciting candidate for sure, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about you. Anyway, I want to thank everybody else for watching this show. This is pretty awesome, pretty exciting stuff there. Look, my name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is live every morning at 7:30, and if you'd like to be interviewed, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com, and make it a profitable day.